Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. Any doubts from yesterday's class?
Sir, yes.
Go ahead.
Sir, at this, we were discussing about this water lines. And water line number 2, I have a doubt little bit. Trim should be in this condition when the stern frame has touched the block. It should be 1 meter or less than equal to, sir. I have a doubt here.
So it will be 1 meter initially when the touchdown happens. So if the touchdown occurs, the moment the touchdown happens, at that point in time, the trim will be 1 meter.
Oh, okay, sir.
And subsequent to that, the trim will start to reduce because the P will start to increase.
Yes, sir. Here we have written less than equal to 1 meter. It means we are discussing when it will start sitting down further.
Correct.
The vessel will start sitting down.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. That's what I wanted to indicate. Okay, touchdown पे 1 meter, और उसके बाद
yes,
subsequently
yeah.
as the pani will start receding, so
Yes.
this P is going to push this vessel up like this.
Yeah, okay, sir. Sir, steadily increasing virtual loss of GM, steadily increasing virtual loss of GM is compensated by the side shores. So it will be only virtual loss, not the actual loss.
I'll be talking about the word now. That is a part of my lecture now. I have not yet
Okay, sir.
discussed that point with you as yet. So I'll be discussing that particular point now.
Okay, sir. Sir, and the displacement, I was having doubt because technically the definition of displacement is the underwater water displaced by the ship. Commonly, we also say the weight of the ship. So here we are referring to the weight of the ship. That is right, sir.
We're talking about the weight of the ship.
Weight of the ship. Yeah.
See, it's like what? My weight is 80 kilo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right. So when I'm walking on the earth, I am weighing 80 kilos. Right?
Yes.
Now I put myself into a swimming pool.
Yes.
My weight is still 80 kilos. Now I put my feet on the floor of the swimming pool.
Yes, sir.
Now my 80 kilos is being shared between the underwater volume, which might be 60.
Yeah.
And 20
Yes.
might be the upthrust exerted by the base of the swimming pool onto me, on my legs.
Yeah.
So
but
80,
I was just discussing about
80
this.
will be equal to 60 plus 20, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, that is right, sir. That is well understood. But I was just I read this definition, technical definition that is saying that only underwater displacement. Commonly, we are also referring to as weight of the ship. Yeah. Okay.
So basically, what we call it as.
So that is the weight of the ship displaced of water, no, sir?
Correct. That is the weight of the ship, which is equal to the weight of the water displaced.
Displacement, yes, sir.
Yeah, they are equal. They are equal.
So they're equal. And which
when the ship is floating freely.
When the ship is floating freely.
Yes.
So but
okay, sir. This is understood. This we are referring to the weight only.
Yeah.
And so there's one question regarding this upthrust force P. So we said that it is be acting exactly on the stern when it touching the aft block initially. So when the ship is resetting and coming towards from aft to forward, so P will be also coming towards forward.
Okay. All right, this point I could not touch yesterday. So basically, what will happen is uh, initially the P is acting only at the aft perpendicular. But as the trim keeps changing, the next block will touch, the next block will touch, the next block will touch, the next block will touch. Now the P is getting shared by all the blocks in contact. Okay?
Okay,
It
sir.
will keep
So
getting
when the
shared. And
so when
finally, when I
okay, sir.
land up at waterline number 3, all the blocks will be touching. So P3 is the sum total of all the blocks. So it's not possible for me on the ship to calculate the P of each block. वो मेरे पास उसका कोई औजार नहीं है. I don't have any means. So what is done for stability calculations is the entire P3 is assumed to act at aft perpendicular. In reality, it is being shared by all the blocks.
Okay,
This is
sir.
for
When it is
calculation, sir.
so when it is sitting, all the blocks still be considered on the aft side.
That's
At a
right. The value is P3. P3 is the P being exerted, the sum total of all the blocks shared. That sum total is P3, assumed to act at aft perpendicular only. In reality, acting all along this thing. Is it okay?
Sir, I have one doubt. Yesterday, sir, we have discussed like W1 is equal to W2.
Correct?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. And as per sir, the chapter 31.3, it is written like to calculate P is equal to W2 minus W1. It is saying like this having a different displacement.
होल्ड इट. इसीलिए मैं अभी आगे भागना नहीं चाहता हूँ. जस्ट होल्ड इट देयर. अभी आई हैव नॉट येट स्टार्टेड विद यू द न्यूमेरिकल्स. जस्ट होल्ड इट देयर. ओके, आई विल क्लैरिफाई दिस बिट. इन
सर
रियलिटी
आपने वो थ्योरी वाला पोर्शन पढ़ने के लिए कहा था, बस वही पढ़ा है, फर्स्ट 2 पेजेस.
हाँ हाँ. So
Sir, I have a doubt related to.
so therefore what I have taught you is W1 is equal to W2 is equal to W3 is equal to W4 is equal to W5. W remains
Yes,
constant all the time.
yes, sir.
This is what I have taught you. Buoyancy
Yes, sir.
will start at 50,000, will become 0 finally.
Yes, sir.
P will start at 0, will become 50,000 finally.
Yes.
ठीक है?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Sir, that means
यहाँ तक.
P will be keep on increasing till the forward bow block touches, and then it will get equally distributed.
No.
Because it is written here, the value of P at the stern frame increases as the water level drops until the bow takes the load.
नहीं.
Thereafter, P
No,
acts
this
along the entire
no.
keel.
No, this is a different kind of a statement. Try to understand. Uh, as the trim keeps changing, so the P is going to be continuously सारे blocks आते जाएंगे बारी बारी करके टच करते जाएंगे, right? And P शेयर होता रहेगा. फिर उसके बाद में जब फाइनली वाटर लाइन 3 आ जाएगी, दैट मीन्स मेरा बॉ भी टच कर गया. अब P सारे ब्लॉक्स में टच कर गया, P सारा शेयर हो रहा है. उसके बाद 4 आएगी वाटर लाइन, फिर P और बढ़ेगा, अगेन वही शेयर हो रहा है. फिर 5 आएगी तो P मैक्सिमम पे चला जाएगा, शेयर हो रहा है. दैट इज व्हाट इज गोइंग टू हैपन.
तो सर जब P sit कर गया, ship is already sitting all the blocks, so it is acting along with the all the ship's keel or still only the at stern frame.
नहीं, it is all along the keel, पूरी की पूरी
Along the keel. So if
along the
anybody
full,
asking like, so if
all,
it's like if it is sitting on the complete block, so it is acting along the keel, or if it is touching the aft block only, so it is at a stern frame.
Correct. So when it is sitting all over on the blocks, then it is all along the keel. The P is acting.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other doubt?
Nothing. You can.
So now, somebody had talked about shores. So let me just do that bit. ये वो shores क्या होता है? So basically, what happens is, if this be an athwart ship, look of the vessel, okay? This is an athwart ship. The actual vessel is going forward, like this. This is the actual vessel, which is going forward.
Excuse me, sir. I'm not able to see the camera, sir.
You're not able to see the camera? What about the others?
So I just got logged out for 2 minutes
So
and then
visible, sir.
logged in again.
So visible.
If you can't see my camera, what you can just do is just leave and then log in again. Dobara.
Okay, sir.
Just try that.
I also just logged out and logged in again, so now it's working fine.
Yeah.
Yes, it is now visible, sir.
Okay. All right. So, if this be the athwartship look of the vessel is lengthwise like that, then this is your center, the keel blocks as they're called. Okay. They're called as the keel blocks. So, ये पूरी की पूरी full they'll go along the length, right? Then you have side blocks. ये side blocks हो जाते हैं. Okay. And depending on the beam, because अब हमारे जहाज की beam ज़्यादा है, तो यहाँ पे फिर then you have what is called as bilge blocks. So keel block, side blocks, bilge blocks. ये bilge keel की तरफ जब curvature आता है bilge keel का, तो ये उधर वाले जो outermost होते हैं, they are called as the bilge blocks. Now,
These are also along the ship's length.
These are all along the length of the ship. ये ऐसे चल रहे हैं पूरे के पूरे. They're all going along the length. Right? Depends on the beam of the vessel. अगर beam छोटी है, तो then side blocks की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. But अगर beam ज़्यादा है, तो naturally ये और increase होते रहेंगे side blocks. So that depends totally on the size of the vessel. अच्छा, अब क्या होता है कि because ये P ऐसे act कर रहा है, तो there will be a tendency of the vessel to bulge out like this. There will be a tendency because ये ऐसे push कर रहा है जहाज को, so there will be a tendency for the vessel to bulge out like this. So in order to prevent that, okay, so bulging out, so what the vessels and some of the older vessels, general cargo and all that, they used to be V-shaped vessels, not a regular box, but they used to be a V-shaped. the vessels were shaped like this. So if this vessel was shaped like V-shaped and she would sit like this, so consequently, when she sat down or when she touched waterline 2, these planks of wood were wedged on the side. These were planks of wood wedged on the sides. So by the dry dock. तो यहाँ पे डॉक साइड है, यहाँ पे शिप साइड है, इसमें ये वेज मार दिया जहाज को, तो वेज कर दिया. These were called as shores. Similarly, these shores were wedged here also. So they would do two functions. One, they would wedge the vessel so as to prevent the toppling over. Two, they would prevent the bulging out of the vessel or the what is it called as the bulging out of the plating, the shell plating.
So what is
So
the toppling? Toppling.
टॉपल ओवर मतलब ये ऐसे टॉपल ना कर जाए, ये जहाज कहीं गिर ना जाए ऐसे, नहीं तो टॉपल कर जाएगा, नहीं तो कहीं ये ऐसे करके मतलब कहीं गिर ना जाए साइड पे. So these vessels are susceptible to that, but these vessels are not. So shores used to be put in the 80s and 90s. And some of the primitive dry docks, they are still doing that. But advanced dry docks, obviously, today we don't have all this shoring business.
तो सर अभी क्या करते हैं जो एडवांस वाले हैं?
अभी इसकी जरूरत ही नहीं है आजकल, ये करते ही नहीं है, इसकी जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ती आजकल. तो आजकल बिकॉज एक तो ये वी शेप्ड वेसल्स ही नहीं है अब इतने ज्यादा, ये तो है ही नहीं, ये तो गायब हो गए. अब बॉक्स शेप्ड ही हैं सारे वेसल्स जो भी हैं. So the support is provided by the blocks itself. You just increase the number of blocks, that's all. So in today's time, this is not done. But yes, you should know what shorings are. Because orals में पूछ लेते हैं.
How do we prevent this bulging in the box shaped vessels?
I'm sorry, I couldn't get you.
How do we prevent bulging from in these box shaped vessels? Bulging out of hull plates.
No, you cannot do anything. What they do is basically they put extra paddings on top of these blocks. So Teflon paddings are put up, rubber paddings, highly reinforced rubber paddings are put up over here. So they take care of that bulging out. So you can't do anything. Also, in olden times, the vessels used to dry dock. The vessels used to dry dock for a very long period of time. You know, एक बारी dry dock में जाता था जहाज, तो 3-4 महीने के लिए जाता था. You know, the dry docks were not so efficient as today. So if the vessel is having a prolonged stay in dry dock on the blocks, then she is more susceptible for this bulging out. But today our dry docks are minimized. Bulk of the job is done at the repair berth, which is floating. So first we go to the repair jetty in off the dry dock, and the work there starts. And the engines are opened up, the units are opened up, and we go into the dry dock only for the underwater portion, nothing else. So in reality, the dry dock stay might be just 10 days or 12 days. The shipyard stay, the repair berth stay, might be 15 to 18 days. And so therefore the total stay for the repair in totality becomes about a month. So as a result, the bulging is less. The vessel is exposed less period on the blocks. That is the situation today.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So that was that with regards to the shoring. Okay. Now, let us start. Which waterline is this? What number shall I give it?
Waterline 1, sir.
This one is number 3, sir. Number 3, touching both, no?
Number 3.
Does everybody agree on that? This cannot be
Yes.
1. It cannot be 1. It cannot be 2 also. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is 3. That means इससे पहले नंबर 2 हो चुकी है और उससे पहले नंबर 1 हो चुकी है. तो 1 से मैं 2 पे आया, 2 से मैं 3 पे आया. Okay. So now let me touch upon one more element of the ship, of the stability, and that is GM. So let's say that at waterline 1, at waterline number 1, let's say the km of the vessel is 6 meters, the kg of the vessel is 5 meters. Okay. Therefore, the GM initial is 1 meter. So
Yes.
at waterline 1, under the column of inference, write down GM initial is equal to 1 meter. ये मैं hypothetically values ले रहा हूँ. I'm just randomly taking some values to explain a point. Now, when I come to waterline number 2, okay, P will start to act. Will there be any change in the GM of the vessel? Is the question. What do you think?
Sir, repeat, sir, please.
No, sir. No.
Yes, sir.
What I'm saying is, at waterline 2, when P begins to act,
Sir,
will
as
there
soon
be any
as offside touches the block, the kg will change.
KG will change, so GM will affect.
Now the question is like this. In reality, the kg of the vessel does not change. Okay? In reality, the kg of the vessel does not change. Because the displacement of the vessel is 50,000 tons still. If the displacement is constant, then kg is also constant.
Yes, sir. It will be constant.
That is
Right.
correct, sir. Buoyancy will reduce and
Buoyancy
speed
will-
increase.
Because we have
Buoyancy is
loaded
reduced.
any cargo.
Because I have not discharged any cargo. So therefore, the kg, the two basic principles in dry dock is W remains constant, kg remains constant. Okay. Now, what happens is this P tons of force which is acting upward is changing the trim of the vessel. And since the trim is changing, the waterline is changing. Earlier, the waterline was inclined like this. Now, the waterline is slowly becoming less inclined and coming to even keel. So, as a result, I know Km is also equal to Kb plus Bm. So, my waterline is changing. So, Kb is changing. Bm is also changing. So, Km is changing. If Km is changing, Kg remaining constant, that means Gm is changing and Gm is reducing.
Yes.
Yes, sir, correct.
Okay.
Sir, please repeat again, sir.
I'll repeat once again. Km is also equal to Kb plus Bm. My waterline is changing. My waterline was initially inclined like this. Initially मेरी जहाज ऐसे था, अब ये ऐसे हो रहा है. तो क्योंकि मेरा जहाज ऐसे हो रहा है, मेरी वाटरलाइन चेंज हो रही है, मेरा केबी बदल रहा है,
हाँ सर.
मेरा बीएम भी बदल रहा है. तो इसका मतलब मेरा केएम बदल रहा है.
हाँ सर.
मेरा केएम बदल रहा है, केजी कांस्टेंट है,
हाँ
तो
सर.
मेरा जीएम बदल रहा है.
हाँ जी सर.
मेरा जीएम
Excuse me, sir.
let me just finish the sentence. So because my km is changing, my gm is also changing. Because of that, kg is constant. So because मेरा gm change हो रहा है, ये मेरा gm actually reduce कर रहा है. This reduction of gm is called as virtual loss of gm. And so, therefore, from waterline number 2 onwards, when critical period commences, virtual loss of GM commences. Hanji, now you ask me questions.
Why the kg is constant at the aft जब ship touch it will slowly coming down towards the forward block, तो धीरे धीरे g shift हो ना aft से toward the center.
What is kg by definition? What is g? G is the center of gravity.
Right.
But by definition, it is called as the geometric center of the mass or weight of the vessel. I have not changed any mass distribution of the vessel. अगर मेरे जहाज का ये मास है और इस पे जो भी वेट्स हैं इसके और इर्द गिर्द, मैंने कुछ बदला नहीं है, तो मैंने उसका ज्योमेट्रिक सेंटर भी नहीं बदला. ये तो जो भी ये जो एक्ट कर रहे हैं, ये तो एक्सटर्नल फोर्सेस हैं, है ना. मेरा जहाज पानी में रहता है, मेरे को एक्सटर्नल फोर्सेस, विंड, करंट मारते रहते हैं, मेरा केजी नहीं बदलता.
Maybe they're considering so there's a transfer of weight taken by the block, but it is not actually.
It is a transfer of the weight by the block. बिल्कुल ठीक. It is a transfer of the weight by the block. So a weight is getting transferred from the vessel to the block gradually.
But that is the virtual, no, sir. That is not actually transferred.
That is actually
so
not happening.
Yes,
So
that's why kg is constant.
Therefore kg is constant. Therefore, Km is changing because of the water line. Therefore, the loss of Gm is called as a virtual loss of Gm. Now, where else have you heard of a virtual loss of Gm? This term.
So free surface effect.
Surface effect, sir.
Absolutely right. Free surface effect. तो मेरा जहाज जो है वो रोलिंग कर ये अगर इसके अंदर स्लैक टैंक है, फ्लूइड है, तो it is liable to shift, and because it is liable to shift, therefore the Km can fluctuate due to the kg fluctuation.
Excuse me, sir, your voice is not clear. Someone mic is on.
Please put your mics on mute. Anshu Kumar, please put your mics on mute. So we know virtual loss of GM occurring due to free surface. Any other instance of virtual loss of GM you know?
By loading heavy lifts, the
Loading
weight of
heavy
the,
lifts.
while
So,
so the weight,
while loading any lift, for that matter, any cargo, crane operation, derrick operation, the moment you plumb the cargo, the G shifts to the crane head or derrick head. The G of the weight shifts to the
yes, sir.
crane. This thing. So, a virtual loss of GM occurs during that transition period while the crane is swinging the weight and picking up from the jetty to the place where it is going to land in the hold. That's called as a virtual loss of GM. The weight is still on board, is actually on board, but it is in transit the moment the crane has picked it up. But the G is getting transferred from the jetty, the weight, it has got transferred to the crane head, and from the crane head, when उसने hold में डाल दिया, the weight goes down, the G goes down to the weight. So all this transition is happening, ये virtual loss of GM है. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So all these are virtual loss of GMs. तो ये आ गया एक और virtual loss of GM. ठीक है? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
So in Waterline 2, write down virtual loss of GM commences. That means the GM will constantly keep losing. Therefore, the GM which is remaining will keep on reducing. Will keep on reducing. So the residual GM will decrease. Do you agree to this statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as the waterline falls, P will increase. The virtual loss of GM will increase. And if virtual loss of GM increases, the remaining residual GM will keep decreasing. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Some water
So
line.
this residual GM.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sir, what is this residue? I didn't get it. Residue.
Is residual. So GM initial, supposing minus the virtual loss will give me the remaining GM, the residual GM.
Okay. Okay,
So
sir.
if my initial GM is 1 meter, supposing my virtual loss of GM is 0.25 meter, then what is my remaining GM? 0.75.
0.75.
Supposing my GM initial is 1 meter, my virtual loss of GM is 1.25 meters. What is my residual GM?
minus 2.5. Minus point.
Minus 0.25. Yeah.
Agreed on this?
Yes, sir.
So what will be my situation at this time? I am aft, touched, forward, not yet touched, still in the air, and I have got a negative GM. I am unstable. What will happen? The vessel will topple over. Agreed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This
Yes, sir.
is the criticality of the critical period. I don't want this to happen. Hence the name critical period. When does critical period occur? From 2 to 3.
Yes, sir.
So I don't want my residual GM to become negative between 2 and 3.
Yes, sir.
So what do I want? At waterline 3, my residual GM should be positive. That means my residual GM should be greater than 0. That is what I want. If my residual GM, I want it to be greater than 0, that means I want it to be stable. I want this to be positive. My virtual loss should be less than GM initial. That means my virtual loss should be less than 1 meter. So long as my virtual loss is less than 1 meter, my residual GM will always be positive.
Yes, sir.
Since my residual GM is always positive at waterline 3, I am okay. I'm okay to dry dock.
Yes, sir.
So at waterline 3, my RGM or residual GM should be positive. ये एक मेरी कंडीशन है. So this is the biggest challenge for the mate to check RGM at waterline 3. अगर ये positive है, okay to dry dock, no problem. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. इसके बाद ड्राई डॉक फिर पंप आउट करता है थोड़ा सा पानी. जैसे ही थोड़ा सा पानी और पंप आउट करेगा 3 के बाद, ये वर्चुअल लॉस और बढ़ेगा. आरजीएम और घटेगा. एक टाइम आएगा जब virtual loss will become equal to GM initial.
Yes, sir.
That waterline is called as waterline number 4. So at waterline number 4, the residual GM will become equal to 0. Virtual loss of GM will be equal to GM initial. Supposing 1 meter, to 1 meter. Is it okay?
सर एक बार नंबर 4 फिर से समझा दीजिएगा.
नंबर 4 फिर से. ओके. सो 3 पे मेरी आरजीएम पॉजिटिव थी. Right? Let's say positive 0.25, supposing. तो आई वाज ओके टू ड्राई डॉक। अब उसके बाद जब पानी और नीचे गया तो वर्चुअल लॉस और बढ़ा। अगर
Yes, sir.
वर्चुअल लॉस और बढ़ा तो आरजीएम और घटा।
Yes, sir.
सो आरजीएम 0.25 से 0.20 हो गया। फिर मैंने पानी और डाउन किया, फिर 0.15 आया, फिर 0.1 आया, फिर 0.05 आया। एक टाइम आएगा जब आरजीएम 0 हो जाएगा। दैट इज वाटरलाइन नंबर 4। आरजीएम is 0. That means the virtual loss of GM is equal to the initial GM. V loss is equal to initial GM. Initial GM was 1 meter, so virtual loss is also 1. RGM is 0. This
Yes.
will be waterline number 4. RGM is 0.
सर अभी नंबर 4 पे all blocks already touch or not yet?
Already touched. वो 3 पे टच कर गए थे। 3 पे टच कर गए थे। P बढ़ चुका है। Waterline 4, P4 is greater than P3. Bravo 4 is less than Bravo 3. Trim is 0. वो पहले ही हो चुकी थी। Draft forward will be equal to draft aft, will be equal to dock water height, will be equal to hydrostatic draft. अगर इनमें से मुझे कोई भी एक चीज मिल गई तो मुझे बाकी सारी चीजें मिल जाती हैं। Displacement remaining constant. W4 is equal to W3 is equal to W2 is equal to W1. Displacement throughout this entire process is constant. Kg is constant, not changing. Is this okay?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts? Up to waterline 4.
No, sir.
Okay. अब इसके बाद ड्राई डॉक फिर पंप आउट करता है। तो जैसे ही 4 के नीचे जाएगा पानी, वी लॉस बढ़ेगा, आरजीएम विल बिकम नेगेटिव।
Yes, sir, correct.
Yes.
So she'll become unstable.
Yes, sir.
But she's already sitting all over in the blocks. So it is okay. She won't topple over. This is what we wanted to achieve.
No, sir. One topic.
This is what we wanted to achieve. We wanted she to be seating all over on the blocks when the GM becomes negative. We wanted to achieve that.
तो सर नंबर 4 पे it is sitting on in the all the blocks.
Correct.
तो जीएम पॉजिटिव था तो हम तो ऑलरेडी पहले से सेफ पोजीशन पे हैं।
हाँ, वो 3 से ही शुरू हो गया था, हम सेफ पे आ गए थे। 3 हम I wanted to achieve 3 first. 3 में पॉजिटिव हो गया था, मैं I was okay. So this is the sequence of my dry docking. I should go from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. So after 4, the GM will become negative. RGM will remain negative. And as the waterline keeps falling, it will become more negative. My question to you is,
सर किसी का वॉइस माइक ऑन है सर।
my question to you is, at waterline 5, what will be the RGM?
What will be what, sir?
Sir, it will be negative.
The RGM. Add waterline
GM will
5.
be negative, sir.
RGM is negative there already.
हाँ नेगेटिव हो गया 4 पे के बाद, अब ये बढ़ता गया
Yes.
बढ़ता गया
Yeah.
बढ़ता गया बढ़ता गया, नेगेटिव नेगेटिव में बढ़ रहा है। ओके अब 5 पे आया, तो 5 पे क्या होगा?
Sir,
It will be equal to
same as kg initial, but
kg
negative.
initial 5 meters.
already हट जाएगा क्योंकि so everything is out now, water is out, everything is out.
So what will happen?
Minus 5 meters, sir.
नहीं, something else. So at waterline 5 there is no buoyancy.
It will be 0, sir.
Since there is no buoyancy, M vanishes. M will vanish. So therefore, GM vanishes. Vessel will only have kg. ये समझ में आया?
Yes, sir.
So it is like this vessel lying on this table like this. That's all. This vessel has a certain kg right now. Okay, I put this in the water. It will have a km also, and therefore this vessel will have a GM. I take it out of the water. She doesn't have any GM. Because there is no km. मैंने इसको टेबल पे रख दिया, खाली kg है बस इसका। ठीक है? Is that okay?
Yes,
Yeah, this is okay.
हाँ जी. Now any doubts?
So again, if we start filling water at undry docking, after dry dock, so again it will start from negative, go to positive.
Absolutely right. अब रिवर्स, जब हम फ्लडिंग करते हैं, जब हम सेल आउट करना है, तो what will happen first? 5 आएगा वाटर लाइन, फिर नेगेटिव होगा, फिर 4 आएगा, 4 पे RGM 0 होगी, फिर 4 के बाद ऊपर चढ़ेगा पानी, ठीक है, चढ़ेगा चढ़ेगा चढ़ेगा, GM पॉजिटिव होगी, वाटर लाइन 3 आएगी, एंड बाउ विल बी अबाउट टू लिफ्ट ऑफ। एंड जैसे ही लिफ्ट ऑफ कर जाएगा, फिर ट्रिम बढ़ती जाएगी, और एक टाइम आएगा जब आफ्ट भी लिफ्ट ऑफ होने वाला होगा, तो वाटर लाइन 2 आएगी, एंड देन 1, एंड देन द वेसल विल सेल आउट। इसलिए therefore we do not carry out any bunkering or any fresh water intake or anything inside the dry dock. We always do it at the anchorage. Why? Because जिस कंडीशन में, जिस ट्रिम में मैं अंदर गया, उसी कंडीशन से मैं बाहर भी निकलूंगा, ताकि क्रिटिकल पीरियड वही रहे। That is the reason.
Okay, sir.
ओके सर। सर ये जो नंबर 5 आपने बोला है KM, so GM also vanished. So GM is completely reliable on the KM only.
That's right. Whenever so long
It's
as
just
you have
for calculation.
So long as you have a M, and the M is only there for floating bodies.
Yes, that's why GM is appearing, because of the M only.
Correct.
Sir, regarding bunkering, you just said that we don't take any bunker. Sometimes we go in a dry dock with the minimum ballast. The vessel requires some minimum ballast, so we go in the dry dock with that much amount of water, and that much we also drain because all the tanks are inspected and everything is done. So is it required that while coming out also we should have that ballast, that much amount of ballast?
बिल्कुल. So that is the reason why जब drain plugs डाल देते हैं, उसके बाद में वो load on top करते हैं. वो the ballast, the dry dock gives us a pipe to load from top, because हमारे pumps तो सारे के सारे काम ही नहीं कर रहे होते उस वक्त. तो इसलिए हम load on top करके उतना ही पानी लेते हैं. So अगर मेरे 4 पीक में 1000 टन था, तो 1000 टन ही वापस लूंगा मैं 4 पीक में.
Yeah, but we have seen sometimes, because this is paid, so sometimes the company wants to save money. They don't take.
No. You have to insist. There's no other way.
Okay.
You just cannot. You have to throw your weight on that. You have to insist as a mate. Sorry, I am not taking. आप ले लीजिए जो करना है. बट मुझे तो 1000 टन चाहिए क्योंकि क्रिटिकल पीरियड चेंज हो जाएगा. अगर आपने 1000 टन नहीं लिया बैलेस्ट, तो जब लिफ्ट ऑफ का टाइम आएगा, आपने तो कैलकुलेशन अंदर के लिए जाने के लिए कर दी थी. बाहर जाने के लिए क्या करोगे?
Yes, sir.
Your entire critical period will change.
Okay, sir.
तो ये बड़ा इशू होता है.
सर अगर ये 10-12 दिन अंदर रुकेंगे एंड ये फ्रेश वाटर कंजम्पशन का फिर क्या करेंगे सर?
तो इसलिए जहाज पे तो कुछ कोई पंप काम ही नहीं कर रहा होता. इसलिए द ड्राई डॉक प्रोवाइड्स यू विद ऑल द शोर फैसिलिटीज. They provide you with shore connection. They provide you with everything. That's why.
सर जब ये रिफ्लोट करेंगे तो ये बॉडीली लिफ्ट होगा कि बाव पहले लिफ्ट होगा सर?
जब रिवर्स जब ऑपरेशन कर रहे हैं,
यस सर,
तो पहले बाव लिफ्ट ऑफ होगा.
अच्छा,
क्रिटिकल इंस्टेंट पहले आएगा.
ओके सर.
राइट. उसके बाद में धीरे धीरे जैसे ट्रिम इंक्रीज करती रहेगी, फिर एक टाइम आएगा जब आफ्ट लिफ्ट ऑफ करेगा.
शी विल नॉट लिफ्ट बॉडीली, पहले बाव ही लिफ्ट.
वो तो रिवर्स वैसे ही उल्टा चलेगा.
ओके.
जैसे जाएंगे वैसे ही रिवर्सली उठेगा.
बिल्कुल जैसे जाएंगे वैसे के वैसे ही रिवर्स होगा.
Sir, I just have one request, sir. Sir, can you please repeat on that how this virtual loss of GM started? Just that point. Can you just?
So virtual loss of GM started because my waterline is changing between 2 and 3.
Yes, sir.
Waterline is changing. So my waterline is changing. So and the draft is changing also between 2 and 3.
Yes, sir.
So because my draft is changing, my KB is changing.
Yes, that's correct, sir.
So because my KB is changing, my KM will also change. Because
Yes,
KB
sir.
plus BM is equal to KM.
Yes, sir.
So KM will change. KG is constant.
Yes, sir.
So GM will change.
Okay, sir. Okay. That is the virtual loss of GM.
That is the virtual loss of GM.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, at point 3,
Yes, thank you, sir.
We have to keep this GM positive.
Yes.
So we have to, जब सर कैलकुलेशन करेंगे तो उसमें बैलास्ट उस हिसाब से डालेंगे कि जो भी अपना पी और सब कैलकुलेट करके कि एंड में पॉजिटिव है.
बिल्कुल ठीक. यही ये मेरा वो है जो मुझे रोक के रखता है. ठीक है. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. If we enter and exit the dry dock with the same trim, तो जो ब्लॉक्स है नीचे सर उनका लेंथ तो डिफरेंट रहेगा ना सर. फॉरवर्ड के लिए थोड़ा लंबा रहना चाहिए ना सर.
Length means, what do you mean by length?
The height of the block.
So in reality the height is different. Okay, but abhi to begin dry docking, I am assuming that all the heights are the same. In reality, the heights vary.
Yeah, okay, sir.
As per the ship shape, sir, no, sir. Because the ship shape.
Because as per the ship shape, बिल्कुल सही. ठीक है. All right. See you tomorrow then. All right. Bye.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
भाई नेक्स्ट क्लास कितने बजे है?
यार माइक ऑफ कर दीजिए इसका ऑन है।